You probably clicked on this review because you want to know, is It Chapter 2 better than It Chapter 1? And is it scarier than It Chapter 1? My boys, we are going to go into that and discuss that here on this movie review for It Chapter 2. Yesterday, your boy had the chance to go to an early screening for It Chapter 2 in downtown LA, thanks to my boys at Warner Brothers. And my boys, this movie is absolutely intense. I have to say, it's probably the most highly anticipated horror movie since the reboot's massive success that it had a couple of years ago. And this movie definitely did not disappoint. You're probably wondering, is it better than the first one? Is it scarier than the first? So we're going to talk about that as we go further into this review. But my boys, I will say one thing about this movie right out the gate. This is a very long movie. This movie clocks in at 2 hours and 50 minutes long. Now, usually I like long movies. You know, I could watch Endgame for 3 hours easily. I could watch Batman v Superman for 3 hours easily. And I'm even excited for Martin Scorsese's The Irishman, which is reportedly going to be 4 hours long. I'm excited about that. But man, this movie, 2 hours and 50 minutes. I think it kind of, I mean, I can understand they had to go through a lot of basic stuff in this movie. A lot of flashbacks, cutscenes to add to this movie. But I feel like the 2 hours and 50 minutes, for some reason for me, it took away from this movie because it felt like some scenes just dragged on for a little bit too long. I think they could have cut at least 20 minutes of this movie and the pace would have been better than it was with those 2 hours and 50 minutes, because this is definitely a long one. And we didn't go to the theater till late and we didn't get out till late because this movie was just so long. But the movie itself, it's definitely scarier. If that's one of your questions, is it scarier than It Chapter 1? I would say most definitely, and I think that's the correct way to go with it because, you know, Pennywise is now facing the adult version of the Losers Club, and the scare factor is definitely lifted. When that kid is inside the House of Mirrors with Professor X, I still call him Professor X, in the House of Mirrors, my boys, again, I've said it plenty of times on this channel, your boy is absolutely terrified of clowns. I mean, just absolutely like a phobia. I hate clowns. And that mirror scene, in a circus, by the way, I hate circuses as well. In a circus theme with Pennywise the clown, then you have a little child in like a House of Mirrors, and we've all seen it in the trailer. It's one of the scariest scenes in the movie. This movie is definitely scarier than It Chapter 1. They definitely elevated the scariness. They made Pennywise more menacing, more terrifying than he already was in the first one. That was one of those few things that I absolutely loved about this movie, is that the scare factor is definitely lifted up in this version of It Chapter 2. And I enjoyed it truthfully. I mean, yeah, it is a very long movie, so if you can't sit still for like a 2 hour, 15-minute movie, that may be a bad experience for you because it's long. A lot of scenes just drag on quite a bit long. There's a lot of flashback scenes. So that's another thing. If you missed the original group, the kids version of the Losers Club, you're going to see a lot of them in this movie because there's plentiful of flashback scenes in this whole 2 hour, 50-minute long movie. Now, if you're asking, is It Chapter 2 better than It Chapter 1? Now, here's the thing. I think It Chapter 1 is still the superior movie, but it's not by a huge margin. I think one of the problems with this one is just you kind of just do miss the kids truthfully and the whole story of itself. It's easier to cheer for the kids version of the Losers Club against Pennywise than it was to cheer for the adult versions of them against Pennywise. Or right out the bat, Bill Hader, my God, MVP of this movie. I've loved him since Superbad. Probably just butchered his name. I'm terrible with names. I apologize for that. I've loved him since Superbad. He was absolutely the MVP playing Richie in this movie. He did an absolute fantastic job with that character. And he was actually, I know a lot of people were like excited for Jessica Chastain to play Beverly. I honestly wanted Amy Adams for the role originally, but everybody was just like dream casting Jessica Chastain as that character. And she was fine as it as well, but Bill Hader, man, he was just the MVP. He was like the perfect casting choice to play the older version of Richie. That was absolutely fantastic. I love that casting choice. Other than those, like the main three, obviously Professor Xavier, you got Jessica Chastain, Bill Hader. The rest of them, I kind of cared, at the same time I didn't. Again, it was easier to cheer on the kids version of the Loser Clubs than the adult version. And again, this one has so much info going through it. The pace has some issues here and there because it's, like, again, a very long movie. So if you're asking if this movie is better than It Chapter 1, I would say unfortunately no, but honestly I don't think the margin is that wide. It's still a really great movie and it's still a really good scare factor. Was again better scares, not as good of a movie, but the movie itself, it's still funny. It still had some very hilarious scenes as the first one, some joy to it. The conclusion of this movie, though, is so well done. I loved the conclusion and the wrap up they did for the ending of the It saga. That was absolutely fantastic. One of the key moments of this movie that I absolutely enjoyed. They did a great job wrapping it up and concluding it. I love this director. I'm not going to say his name because I'm always going to butcher it. He's supposed to direct the new Flash movie with Ezra Miller. Cross your fingers, because that movie production has been cursed from the get-go. I think they've gone through like 4 directors for the Flash movie now. Hopefully he gets this one, because I love this director. He did a fantastic job with this It Chapter 1 and 2 and the saga, and the way he concluded it is such a beautiful conclusion to a very, very well done story. Again, I don't think it's that far apart from being as bad as or as good as It Chapter 1. It's just like barely minimal little gap in between. Like, I remember I gave It Chapter 1 probably like an 8.7. And if I had to give a score for It Chapter 2 at the moment, I think I would go with probably like a 7.7, a 7.8, around that area. I just think they would have cut like 20 minutes of the movie. The pacing issue, and there's just some moments that were just too stretched out, too many flashback scenes. It just felt like it dragged on for a little bit too long, and I felt that was a disservice to the movie itself. If pacing would have been better, I think they would have cut 20 minutes off, and it was just like a 2 hour and 30-minute movie. I think you could have gone to the point. A lot of the moments you just wanted to keep going and going. It's like there's crazy scenes, and then it goes into like a full stoppage, and you just want that craziness to keep going, especially with Bill Skarsgård. My God, his Pennywise. Whew, he absolutely nailed it. Other than Bill Hader being a great casting for Richie, beep Richie, but Bill Skarsgård, man, absolutely phenomenal performance as Pennywise the Clown in both movies. He absolutely did a wonderful job in both of them. I love this movie. It's a great way to start the Halloween season. If you're petrified of clowns, you're just going to get more scared of clowns after watching this movie like your boy did. I could still have some of those moments in my head. There's a lot of scary moments. Again, the scare factor, huge in this movie. I'm not even joking. Like, it is definitely scarier than the first one, in my opinion. So if you're looking for it to be scarier, you're going to be absolutely happy with that. If you're looking for it to be better than It Chapter 1, I think some will view it as better. I think some will also kind of be like, it's not as good, but it's still good for what it is. It's still a great conclusion and a great final chapter for the It saga. Now, if you're looking for a movie that's not going to be that long, then you're going to be pleasantly surprised when you're in that theater for almost 3 hours long, my boys, because this is a very long movie. And again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing for the movie. I'm just saying I probably would have cut some things here and there. And supposedly the rumor is that we're going to get a super cut of both movies together. That's going to be like a 5 hour, 6 hour watch time, which is going to be insane. But again, I like longer movies. I prefer longer movies, but I know a couple people that hate watching longer movies. Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Absolute long movie. Loved every second of it. This one, I think some movies deserve to be super long. This is one of them where I'm like, you could have cut maybe 15 to 20 minutes worth of time in here, and probably, I think it just would have made it better for the pace. Pace-wise, I had an issue with the movie more so than anything else. Just the pace of the movie was the construction of it was just very lengthy. I think that they could have just cut some things here and there. The pace issue wouldn't have been a big deal. Other than that, again, I give this movie, I'm going to settle on one score. I'm going to give it a 7.8 out of 10. I gave It Chapter 1 an 8.8. Again, not that big of a gap. They're right there next to each other. It's still a really decent movie. It's still really fun to watch. The scares are all there. Again, scare factor. You're going to love it. If you're looking for it to be better than It Chapter 1, then you're probably going to have a little probably issues here and there like I did. Again, I think the length of the movie is the main issue altogether. But still, all in all, fantastic conclusion to the It saga and Pennywise the Clown. Bill Skarsgård, absolutely fantastic performance. Jessica Chastain, she was fine. Again, as Beverly, I dug her. She was cool. But again, I would have casted Amy Adams in that role. But she was fantastic. I thought she did a really well job. Really well job playing the older version of Beverly. I think everybody did. I think all these actors played a great job as the older versions of the Losers Club. I found myself having an easier time cheering for the kids version than the adults version. I just felt like the kids version had better chemistry, better I don't know, just the chemistry was better with the kids loser club compared to the adult loser clubs, if you want to compare those two aspects of the movie. I enjoyed It Chapter 2. It was one hell of a movie. I mean, Pennywise will always be one of the scariest things in the world to me. Any clown, except the Joker. That's the weirdest thing. I'm afraid of clowns, but the Joker is always going to be my favorite, no matter what. Maybe because I don't view him as a clown, I view him as a Batman villain. But whatever, that's a different story for a different day. Joker, October 4th. We're only a few days away from that movie, my boys, and I can't wait to see it. But we started off the Halloween season with It Chapter 2. Really good movie. Very well done. The conclusion was freaking phenomenal. Again, one of my favorite parts of the movie is the way they wrapped it up all together and they concluded this great story from Stephen King. Love the movie. If you think it was better than It Chapter 1, that's your opinion. Let me know down below. Well, let's know your guys' opinion when you guys do watch it, because It Chapter 2 is now in theaters tonight and this weekend. It's supposed to make a shit ton of money. It's the #1 pre-sale horror movie of all time. So I expect this movie to make a bunch of money. And you know, Warner Brothers needs it, man. Warner Brothers has had some couple of dulls, some couple of box office bombs. You know, Shazam didn't make that much. Godzilla didn't make really that much either. Neither did Detective Pikachu, like they had estimated previously. They came out around Endgame. That was probably subjective that it was going to happen, but I really do think It Chapter 2 is going to make a boatload of money. And when you do watch it, come back to this review, comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts on the movie were. Again, I hope I didn't go into any spoilers. I didn't want to spoil anything, really. You're going to enjoy this movie again. It's going to be a fun movie. You're going to love the scares more than you loved it in the first one. You're going to even love Pennywise probably even more than you loved them in the first one, honestly. And this movie is going to be a fun time for you. And again, just be prepared. It's a long movie. It's very lengthy. It's very, very lengthy. My boys, if you like this video, slap that thumb, subscribe, and join the Hollywood Quick for daily uploads Monday to Sunday, 7 days a week. Links are all down below in the description. Comment down below. And apparently, we are getting the Shining sequel trailer on Sunday. We were supposed to get it today, but apparently we're getting it on Sunday. So everybody that's watching It Chapter 2 tomorrow, Saturday, it's going to be in front of that movie. I don't understand why Warner Brothers would release it on Sunday and not today, but it really feels like movie studios are really leaning towards trailers being released in the theaters first before hitting online. I don't really agree with that, because some of these movies I watch and I don't want to have to watch that trailer before I give you guys a reaction. But hopefully, they didn't give us any trailers yesterday for the screening, so luckily I didn't have to see the Doctor Sleep trailer. We will see that Sunday. Hopefully it drops early in the morning so I can give that guys to you. Just keep your eyes peeled for that, my boys. I will see you guys later on. You guys enjoy the rest of your day too. So